Well, hello.
Well, hello there. Sorry for the delay. I was typing in, sorry for the delay. We're having technical issues into the YouTube chat, but I don't know if that appeared for people or not.
It may have, it may not have. I don't know the answer to that. Maybe somebody who's watching will tell us.
Maybe.
We do have some people watching. If you're listening on the podcast, you won't care about this entire conversation we're about to have because you're just listening to the show whenever you want to listen to it. But our huge audience of Mom and a couple of other people were probably wondering where the heck we were.
Probably so.
My laptop may be dying. It's an old laptop, so it's going to be time for me to knuckle down and get a new one of these days.
Maybe by next week. Maybe because we have the show to do. I thought.
Okay.
Yeah.
You drop that check in the mail, and I'll run over to the Apple store and take care of it.
See where your where your areas of importance lie.
Yeah.
I'm just glad you're here. I thought maybe I would have to just vamp for an hour alone here on this movie, that you had abandoned me, or that you were afraid to actually face me, even in a digital zone.
I'm actually not afraid to face you because I actually have some thoughts.
Do they include an apology?
No, they actually don't. Do I owe you an apology? Or are we going to get into it right away? Let's
No,
talk
you don't
about,
know me. You don't know.
Let's talk about pleasant things first. There is something I want to say to you before we start. I didn't bring a coaster in here. I should have brought a coaster. I just want to say to you, Ken Lee, Deliba Diba Douchu. And I'm going to give you some time to think about what that means. I'm not going to talk about it tonight. I'm going to give you a week to figure it out, but I'll repeat myself. Ken Lee, Deliba Duba Douchu.
It's the lyrics to the song from one of the songs in the movie tonight.
Yes, it is the lyrics to the song, and it's actually. I saw a clip last night, not completely disconnected from our having viewed this movie. A friend of mine showed a YouTube clip of somebody singing that song on the Bulgarian version of America's Got Talent.
Oh, I'd like to see that.
And I'll post the clip.
Was it not in necessarily in proper English, or wasn't?
It was not. They didn't speak English at all, so they were just sort of making up what they thought would be words. And I don't think it's inappropriate to talk about, because it's not as if you're making fun of somebody's accent. It's making fun of somebody who doesn't speak your language deciding to make up your language.
That's always pretty funny. I like to hear it.
The genius of it is that they added subtitles to the clip so that you can actually follow along with Ken Lee, Deliba Duba Douchu.
It's too bad we can't edit that in there maybe we can put a link in social.
I'm going to put a link in the social to the song, because it's extraordinary.
It's quite something with your giant Arnold Palmer and your blurry background. This is something.
This is the Batch 22 version of the Paloma. This is Batch 22 with Fever Tree grapefruit soda, and it's pretty great.
It looks very tasty.
It's a nice summertime. It's not summer, but I thought in honor of my love for this movie, it's out of focus, I guess. Huh? It's blur. Oh, if I put it right in front of me, yeah. It's a nice sort of British coif. So how are you? What's going on? What was your week like?
Isn't a coif a hairdo?
No, QUAFF.
Oh, sorry. Just wanted to be clear.
I don't do anything to do with hairdo anymore.
Now you just have one.
I
And you
just have
stick to it.
one hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically. And it will have to do. So,
Well, I'm sure you haven't had any complaints yet, or have you? I don't know.
no, not yet. How was your week? What's going on in your life?
Oh, that's a hard question. You start with the hard questions right away.
Yeah.
What's going on? Much the same. Much the same. Amelia's show is going very well. I'm trying to crack a little bit of a screenplay while I have a little bit of time off, meaning I'm unemployed. So I'm trying to get some writing done, and that's been frustrating.
Yeah.
That's all I can say about it.
The cat's getting in the way, or just writer's block, or
Just slow pulling teeth. This part of the process, the beginning, the deciding, committing to a story, committing to it. It's hard for me.
did you well, we'll get into whether this movie gave you any inspiration later.
Okay. The answer is yes, it did.
It did.
Not in the way that you maybe
Write
think.
a story about a murder mystery about a guy who kills his brother because he
Yeah. It fired me up. Let's put it that way.
Okay. Anything else this week? No interesting events. No.
Well, I'm trying to think. I mean, what happened this week? Like, oh, it was a birthday. It was a birthday week.
Well,
That's
that wasn't big for you. That was big for me.
It was big for me. You're my brother. It was your birthday. So happy birthday.
Yeah.
On the show.
Thank you.
I called you on your birthday. I want it to be known.
You did call me on my birthday, and I managed to make you jealous on my birthday too, I believe.
It's a common thing.
With the pizza situation.
Oh man, I saw some social media photos of your pizza feast, and I was like, I wish the third brother got to hang out there.
You would have
some pie.
you would have enjoyed your. Well, we'll do it when you come out here in May or June for some of our Batch 22 launch events. We're going to do a lot of eating when you're
Look,
here.
you can fire up the pizza or not. I'll be eating. I'll order a slice and eat it on the lawn. I don't care.
Yeah, we'll be eating like crazy. Yeah, and on my birthday, then we actually, it was a very busy work day for us on my birthday. We had a lot of meetings, and then after all of the meetings, we had to do a little something. We had to do R&D. We call it research and development. Other people call it drinking, but actually, we call it research and development.
Well, you're developing booze, so you got to know what you wouldn't want to go flying in a plane with somebody that had never flown a plane before.
No.
You want somebody making your booze who's had a drink or two.
Yeah. Did you watch anything interesting this week? I mean, aside from the topic of tonight's show?
Well, I did get to see, did we discuss that I saw Godfather the last show?
I don't believe we did. Had you seen it the last show? Had you gone up to see?
I don't think so. I'm losing track of time rapidly, but I did get to see the re-release of the Godfather 50-year anniversary of that in the theater, which was absolutely great. Went with the mom and our friend Liz, and we just had a great time. And it was really something to see. I'd never seen it in the theater before. I haven't even really done any reading on what they did. It didn't seem like they had added anything. They may have looked like they may have like spruced up. I mean, I know they worked on the print. It's a new 4K restoration and it looks great, but they may have added some new imagery in some of the dissolves where you see Times Square in the old days, or I think they may have doctored some of that.
Oh, really? Okay, I want to check that out. And then you and I had discussed the idea of watching it in black and white, which I did once at a bar that was displaying movies
on a broken television.
On a broken but they were showing it in black and white, and we talked about this. That Gordon Willis, who worked with Dad on Little Murders, it looks like he shot it so that it would work also in black and white, and it looks great in black and white.
I bet it does.
A lot of
think
color
that's-
movies don't, but this really worked. Anything else?
Oh, let me look at my notes.
Oh,
Let me
we
see.
should mention while we're talking about The Godfather, this is sort of a Godfather-themed week for our family because, the previews dropped today for the Paramount Plus series, The Offer, that Adam directed 4 of the 10
Oh,
episodes.
wow, really? Okay, great,
Yeah,
great.
and that series is about the making of The Godfather, with, Matthew Good playing Robert Evans and, Miles Teller playing Albert Ruddy, and Giovanni Ribisi playing, I believe Joe Colombo, the fellow who didn't want the movie to be made.
At first,
At first, didn't want it to be
right?
made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see this. I know Adam's really excited,
From the
and
previews, it looks fantastic.
well, I have to check that out when we're done with the show. I didn't know they dropped yet.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
I'm
When
really
does it? I'm sorry. When does the show air? Do you remember
it
when it airs?
starts in April, I think,
In April. And
yeah.
what's the
Paramount Plus.
Paramount Plus? Okay.
So you have to sign up for Paramount Plus, and it looks very exciting. And I also watched The Atom Project, the new Ryan Reynolds fun sci-fi time loop
Adventures with the Little Kid.
adventures with the little kid. And
Yes.
actually, what was interesting is the little kid they cast is terrific. And he also, this little kid he's only 10 or 11 years old. He must have studied Ryan Reynolds because he has that smart ass thing that he does a lot of looks and takes and smart ass timing.
Right.
That's very Ryan Reynolds. It's really kind of a pleasure to see somebody you could totally see growing up into Ryan Reynolds.
Well, I'm sure that's the big trick of the movie, isn't it? I mean, he's playing himself. He's playing a young Ryan Reynolds, right?
Yeah.
So,
And that's not a spoiler because
it's in the yeah, you can see that
it's in the trailer, and it's right away at the beginning of the movie. We know that it's him. But another thing they did that I thought was really interesting in the way that it was shot, that how in movies where they have an actor playing 2 roles and they have the scenes where they're talking to each other, and they often frame the shots very evenly with the 2 actors shot from the side looking right at each other, and sort of showing off that, oh look, it's the same actor playing both parts and he's having a conversation with himself. They shot a lot of the scenes between the kid and Ryan Reynolds in that style, so that you kind of felt like they were making a play on this idea of that it's one actor playing both parts, even though it's clearly 2 actors playing the parts because one of them's a grown up and one of them's a kid.
Is it like an action adventure thing?
Yeah.
Is the world gonna end unless because he's the one saves it, gets to know himself better and saves the world? Is that maybe part of the plot?
How would you come up with that idea? That's
just curious. Is there a blue light that comes out of the sky?
If you're coming up with ideas that are that good, how is it possible that you're suffering from writer's block? Because that's the most original. I've never heard anything like that.
I'm on top of my game circa 19, Carrick Taylor says, hello, it did.
So I think she's referring I think he is referring to the comments that you made early on saying we were experieing.
Okay, that's probably true. Yes, Carrick is the he, and he is a fan of P for Paranormal and this show. Hi, Carrick. Thanks for the shout out there. I didn't know what was happening. It was really alarming. I didn't know if maybe the whole grid went down and there was no more internet service tonight.
And Carrick, I apologize. You and I haven't met, and I apologize.
Carrick is super fan Carrick Taylor.
Yeah.
Super fan.
Big.
You need Carrick on your side. He helps us on Rated P a lot.
Okay.
Keeps us in line.
My apologies. I'll send you a cupcake. I don't know what that meant.
I don't
have
either.
no idea what that meant.
Why don't I would? You could send me a cupcake. I wouldn't say no.
And last week when we talked, I was about to start watching The Outer Limits.
Oh, right. Yeah. Did you start?
We started, watched 2 episodes. A lot of fun.
Great show.
Not as good as I remembered it, but a lot of fun. And everybody in the world was on. Cliff Robertson starring in that first episode. And I'm actually, my buddy is coming over tonight, and we'll be watching a few more episodes. And Carrig is saying it lagged quite a bit. Hi, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you, Carrig. Great to have you here. So yeah, I'm looking forward to some more Outer Limits tonight.
That's great. I'd love to see some Outer Limits with you late night. That would be great.
Well, there are a lot of them, and I won't be done watching them by the time you get here. So,
where are you seeing them? Are they on Amazon or?
I actually bought the entire series on Amazon Prime. You get the whole thing for $20. So,
all right.
It was like $2 an episode, or all 54, or however many it is, for $20. So I've said I'm a big spender.
You know how to lay down some money for some digital content, man.
Yeah, there you go.
Did I hear streaming? Here's $20.
Yeah, streaming. I'm going crazy. So Bridget Jones' Diary. I guess
are we starting this now? Are we doing it?
No, we can keep talking about other things. I'm having a good time. I love just hanging out with you.
That's nice. Don't butter me up though. We got to get to serious business.
All right. Okay, Bridget Jones' Diary, 2001. What was your relationship to this movie prior to seeing it tonight, other than being convinced that you were going to loathe it?
Posters. And
you collect them.
I remember the poster of them. I have no relationship to it. You
don't have a copy of the poster up to Il Malo, Il Gatto, Il Buono.
No, it's not. No,
I got that all wrong.
It's not hanging next to my Santa Sangre poster.
No. Okay.
I never saw it. I don't know anything about it. I didn't read the book. I wasn't paying attention then.
And you're not paying attention now.
4 months after this came out was 9/11, and I certainly wasn't paying attention after that.
Okay. All righty.
How about you?
Didn't want to see it when it came out. Had no desire whatsoever to see it. Saw it.
When it came out?
Yeah. Well, because I was married. And
okay, so yeah.
And loved it, actually. Had a great time. Look, we should hang up now. We should hang up right now.
Where is this bad connection when we need it? Where is your computer falling apart? Why isn't it doing it now?
Wow. And interestingly, movie was very well received. Renee Zellweger got an Oscar nom. She got a nod there. Got a lot of other nominations. Roger Ebert gave it 3.5 out of 4 stars.
Are you kidding me right now?
I'm not.
You're making that up.
I'm not. Roger Ebert, 3.5 out of 4 stars.
Roger Ebert, or some other guy named Roger Ebert?
No, the Roger Ebert. So you can come after me with the big guns all you want.
No, I'm not.
But I'm not alone. I'm not alone in my feelings.
That's what makes me so damn depressed. Actually,
is that I'm not alone?
Is that I'm alone?
Is
how alone that I am and how alone I feel.
You're not alone. I'm sure there are other people who feel as you. I'm sure there are other embittered people with dry, withered souls who feel the way that you do.
Boy, I doubt it, but I doubt quite as withered and dry as mine.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, let me put it this way. This made me. I wanted to see Notting Hill so badly. I was begging for Notting Hill to come on.
Really?
Begging.
Okay, because here's what I thought. watching this, this is fun. This is actually really fun and interesting because I really do want to hear what you say about it. Because after your response to Notting Hill, the fact that you didn't want to eviscerate me after Notting Hill sort of surprised me, right? I thought you would want to flay the skin from my body at Notting Hill. But you and I was so surprised that you didn't. And the things that you had to say about it, I was like, oh wow, okay. And then watching this movie, I thought, wow, so if he felt that way about Notting Hill, and I actually, hi mom will remember this. I talked to mom about this. I thought, based on your assessment of Notting Hill, that you were going to like this movie better than Notting Hill.
Really?
Yeah. And I'll tell you one reason why I thought that is one of your main objections, as I recall, and maybe I got it wrong, to Notting Hill was the, shall we say, deification of Hugh Grant. The sort of, angelic choir and halo that is supposed to surround him through the whole movie. And in this movie, he's giving that same kind of charming performance, but we know that his character is an utter shit.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought, oh, Anthony's going to like this.
Well, that's not what he's not what I disliked about it.
Oh, okay.
I actually thought Hugh Grant was fine. I thought that was actually a more appropriate kind of character for him. For me.
Okay, so I fell into a trap. A trap was laid for me by that, and I fell right.
You fell right into it. Yeah, that was a thing I didn't dislike about it. I thought he carried that off really well.
That's a great quote that I'm going to put under the poster for this movie. There were things about it that I didn't dislike.
That is a winning statement.
Arkin.
It's a winning statement. Look, I don't want to be a negative person. And I know a lot of people love this movie and it's dangerous territory because it's got a lot of people really, adore it. They made 3 of these things. And I'm sure it's recent enough so that I'm sure there's still people who really still watch it all the time and care about it. And I didn't know she got an Oscar nom for it, but that doesn't do anything to me, but make me more dismayed at this Oscar shenanigans completely anyway. So I don't know. I wanted to see somebody make a real movie here so badly. And I just didn't get that movie. I didn't get the movie that I could have standed, that I could have stood.
Okay. So I'm going to throw some things out there then. I'm going to try and channel you a little bit if I can.
Please.
I probably can't. But I'm going to throw some ideas out. Like, for instance, I have a note here that I don't want to read out loud now. But I will, because I'm man enough to embarrass myself.
Okay.
The note actually says, Zellweger's very brave performance. And there's the look. There's the look of the audio that goes with the look that my brother just gave me. There's a sound that my brother makes, which is well known in our family, where when something is really just out of bounds, Anthony goes, huh. And he gave me that look just now. And but what I'm gonna so my characterization of that performance as brave comes from the perspective of saying, okay, this is frickin' Hollywood trying to make a mainstream movie. And here's this actress who had sort of just exploded on the scene as sort of a very conventionally attractive leading woman in Jerry Maguire. And then she went and put on 20 pounds to play this role and romps about in the movie quite a bit in basically in bra and panties, and shows off a body which I think 99 out of 100 women would be thrilled to have, but by Hollywood standards, I think we can safely say doesn't cut the mustard, right? And then so my prediction about what you would say is, yeah, but that's the Hollywood standard, and going off the Hollywood standard by 5% still keeps you firmly in the realm of total bullshit.
Yeah,
So does that characterize your view of this
that
movie?
is a fair assessment.
I'm looking at it saying, wow, they deviated from this. They were willing to deviate from the standard and dip a toe in those waters. And you would say, don't dip a frickin' toe in those waters. Make the real goddamn movie about the real person.
Yeah, I think I'd have to say that. I mean, I can't the whole conversation about her gaining weight for this or not. I mean, I think I remember hearing some stuff about her doing that. And I'm not going to step on whether that's a brave thing for somebody to do or just somebody's job if they get that, like, and how brave is it to do it when you're making lots of money doing it? I will argue the level of bravery, but it's brave. Okay.
Well,
I mean, here's
how brave. I gain 20 pounds sometimes for free.
right. Exactly. That's not brave at all. It can
I do
be
it over the week. I do it over the weekend.
Yeah. And I think that there was a lot made of it, maybe. And if I had never heard anything about that story, I would have seen this movie and not noticed I don't think I would have really noticed one way or another. She just seemed like, another attractive young ingenue in a rom-com. The weight thing in the movie threw me a little bit. They made a lot about it. And I think part of that is since we've seen, I think, a lot more open casting and views on what, attractive means, on what beautiful is. And I think that's changed a lot in the 20 some odd years since then. So we're used to seeing people who legitimately do have that extra or whatever, not extra, but just extra than her normal weight.
Body. Yeah.
And actors who carry that beautifully in films, and it's not such a big deal anymore. So I don't even know. I guess it's a shame that it was such a hot button issue 20 years ago. That's all I can say about it. I mean, she looks great. I didn't think about it.
Right.
So, but I hear you. I think that in the restrictions of this kind of genre, that was at least a brave thing to lean into and not to completely dismiss. And it was kind of, I think, cool that, and I didn't read the book, of course, it probably comes from the book, but there was a little bit of an edgier quality to the humor they were trying for anyway. It was a little racier, a little bit more, a little more modern, a little more knowing in terms of its outlook on romance than some other movies. It was a little more ironic and a little surreal at times, like they did kind of go for some kind of broad surreal moments, which I like that they tried to do it. They just didn't gel for me into a whole,
because if you put this next to Notting Hill, Julia Roberts wasn't looking like this and wouldn't have looked like this in Notting Hill. Well, and was playing the kind of star that I think that the character of Bridget Jones in both the novel and the movie was sort of rebelling against that image of a woman that was typified by Anna Scott, the character that Julia Roberts was playing.
Yes. Okay. So it's better than other movies that I would have liked less than this.
Yes, that is what I am saying. This
Okay.
movie wasn't as bad and hateful as it could have been, in your
I mean, you know, did you feel any motivation to care at all about anything that happened at any point to any of these people? Did you care at all ever about any one single moment or thing or desire or dream or wish that any of them had at any time?
Yeah, I did.
And did you cry at all? Did you cry at this
I
movie?
didn't cry in this movie. I did
Because if
cry.
you cried, I would come over there and thrash you about the head and neck.
No, I did cry at Notting Hill, and I didn't cry at this movie. I
I'm
just enjoyed it. I just enjoyed it and laughed.
okay.
Um, and I I did identify with the Colin Firth character.
You
The guy.
identified with him?
Yeah, I used to be a lawyer. He was a lawyer. Um,
You could you could say that after seeing Angels in America and
Yes.
seeing Roy Cohn in a movie.
Yes,
Like, that's not a
No.
thing to say.
but I identify because he's, he's not the dashing guy that every woman goes for.
Well, that you're talking about one of the biggest sex symbols on the planet. That guy
Yeah.
is, you're going to get in a more of a fight with some of our listeners than I am about that.
Well, but he's playing an uptight, he's playing an uptight, uncomfortable guy with a stick up his ass.
Yeah. Okay. I
Which-
you're not gonna, which is you. That's how you identify.
I don't identify as that, but I identify as next to, growing up and at college and law school, there were always guys who were, the object of desire the way that the way that Hugh Grant is in this movie. And both in my, in my real life and in my life as an actor, I did, for instance, I did 3 shows with a fellow who's a very good friend of mine now, Gregory Harrison, who's one of the best looking guys in show business. And we've worked together 3 times. And the 3rd time I worked with him, I said, I never want to work with you again. And he was like, what do you mean? We have a great time together. We're buddies. We have a ball working together. We work really well together. And I said, yeah, but you might not believe this, but sometimes when I'm not working with you, I get to kiss the girl. And when I'm working with you, I'm the idiot sidekick every time. 3 jobs, I was the idiot sidekick because he is leading man. And I'm not, never was. Whenever I got sort of a leading man type of role, it was maybe the kind of leading man role that Dad got, which was the offbeat character-y leading man role. And yeah, this might be a bullshit Hollywood movie in some ways, or British Hollywood, but putting Colin Firth next to Hugh Grant in this movie, he's playing the lesser of the two in terms of flash.
Yeah, but it's like,
flair.
yes, but that's like that's just because they put dopey clothes on him. I mean, he's ultimately, a 6'4" dashing sex symbol beyond repair, who also instills in probably some audience members a desire to dress him better and actually take care of him more, which makes him even more attractive.
Which has sort of been my technique, if you will, to try and engender that
either
feeling.
Something's working or something's not working.
It's not working.
Okay.
It's not working.
Okay.
Although, no, that's not true. There was one woman I went out with who spent a lot of time and energy trying to change the way I dressed. And clearly, for those of you on the podcast,
it's magnificent.
Yeah,
I can see what she was going for.
It didn't work. All right. and we're not together anymore. What can I tell you? If you're listening, hi, miss you.
You know, they make Madras shirts with the hoodie tied, like sewn into the back of it, that you don't even have to get a separate one.
Do you know where I got this, Madras?
No.
Just got this yesterday.
You got it yesterday.
I got it yesterday, thrifting.
And thrifty.
No, thrifting. I went thrifting.
Oh, I thought you said thrifty. It looks like you got it at the hardware store.
$2 I paid for this shirt, and I was robbed. I was robbed, I tell you.
So you're inspired because you need a woman like Bridget Jones to swoop into your life and get that reindeer sweater situation switched out.
I think I would fall very much in love with a Bridget Jones at this point in my life. Bridget, if you're out there.
All right. I guess you may have hit something very are these movies made for people when they're going through a period of their life when they're single and they're, I mean, honestly, because I
fine, just lay it right out there.
Well, you've been saying a lot in this episode. If anyone's paying attention, if you weren't single when it started, you're single now. So
and may remain single,
yeah.
Being a man admitting that he loves Bridget Jones's Diary.
I think that could be a great thing. I'm sure there are plenty of people that love this movie that would love to share it with somebody. I'm not a candidate for that, but I don't begrudge anybody.
Yeah, and I don't want to cuddle up with you next.
The fact that I had to stop this movie in a blind rage 3 times just to get my bearings and breathe. Don't let that, sway you.
Okay. Is there so okay, I get the depth of your hatred for the film. I want to dig deep here and take a chance. Was there anything that made you laugh in the whole movie? The show's still for those of you.
Are we recording? I'm trying.
For those of you listening, the show is still going on.
I'm going to say that the answer to that is no. I did not have one genuine, honest laugh.
Really?
No.
Okay. You didn't like the Tarts and Vickers party? Even the concept.
Well, you asked me if I laughed, liking something I didn't.
Okay.
I thought that was a concept I would have liked to have seen handled by somebody that had been to England. And I don't know why it seems like she's the only American involved in this, but it really does feel like Americans just put a backlot on Warner Brothers and made a movie in England pretending everything was English. It didn't feel, I was so desperate for some authentic sense of Britishness, of Englishness that I love in other films. I did not laugh at anything, which is the first time I've seen what would be a British comedy and not laughed at anything. And I find that to be suspicious. Is it actually a British film? I don't know.
It is, and I can prove it. She opens her fridge and there is Stilton in it. There's Stilton in her fridge.
They could have gotten that from Wallace and Gromit. That's not. That's an easy one.
That doesn't count. All right. And there's a scene where she was eating Branston pickle from a jar.
Mm-hmm. Are you going to ask me like when? Because I can tell you exactly when I first stopped the movie and had to walk away for a minute. Would you like to know when it was? Can you guess when it? Let me put it this way. Can you guess the first time I picked up the remote like this and was like, oh, and I
was it when she was drunk and singing in the apartment?
No, you mean the title sequence of the movie? No, I made it through the title sequence.
Well, when was it? What made you throw the remote at the television?
It was honestly The Pretenders. When they desecrated The Pretenders, I flipped out. I got angry, and I had to stop the movie.
Okay, well, I did have in my notes that they rely perhaps a bit too much on popular music to generate feeling the audience.
what is it with Motown hits and these rom-com movies? What is happening? Why does every person in these movies dance around and go shopping for fruits and vegetables listening to Motown songs? I love Motown, but it's like these are great pieces of art that they are trampling over and desecrating with their vapid little shoes, and it bothers me. And the Pretenders literally made me upset. I was like, okay, this isn't okay.
Well, I think that was actually a touch of irony because the movie was pretending to be something that it's not. No.
Oh, you're right.
Okay.
I wasn't filled with rage. You're absolutely right.
No.
That's the I should have thought of that.
They were pretending with the Pretenders.
Look, we'll talk about the music for a second. It's a crutch for a lot of films. I've noticed a lot of rom-coms and a lot of like light comedies and stuff.
It's cheating.
It's cheating. It's a chance to do montage work, which is also cheating a lot of the time, no matter how much fun it is. And this is it's not just cheating. It's also if you know the business, it's about selling a record. It's about marketing the movie itself. It's about cramming as many songs as you possibly can in, and not with any real thought. I mean, because you're gonna get an ABBA tune, probably you're gonna get some Motown, you're gonna get an Aretha Franklin song, check. You're gonna probably get maybe a Marley song or something like that, which was missing from this, unfortunately. And then you're gonna get Van Morrison, which we get after a person says, "I happen to like you very much," and they start playing Van Morrison, and I'm like, even if it's ironic, it would have to have pushed that irony so much farther for me to buy it and care. But
do you know who they're thinking about when they make those decisions and who they're aiming that at?
they're not aiming it at me. I know that.
Do you know who they are thinking of?
Well, clearly more someone like you.
Me. They're thinking of me because you're and this may cause a rift in the family, but I'm the guy. I didn't go out and buy the Bridget Jones soundtrack, but for instance, I did go get the soundtrack to the first Charlie's Angels movie.
Well, that's okay. That's different because it's actually a better soundtrack than movie.
It is because it has caviar on it. It has tangerine Speedo on it.
Get the Bridget Jones Spotify list, and it would be a lot of good songs. Why that has anything to do with being in a good movie or not, I don't know. That's like saying I like the movie because I like the drink that James Bond drinks in it, so I like the movie. It's like I don't understand that.
Well, wait a minute. That is a good reason to like a movie. Cocktails.
So yeah, okay. So is fruits and vegetable shopping in all these movies as a springtime sexual like reference of fertility? Is that why? I'm asking seriously because literally they pass a fruit and vegetable stand or go fruit and vegetable shopping in every one of these movies I've ever seen. And I'm guessing it's got something to do with that. Yeah.
Well, they have lots of fruit and vegetable stands in England. That's how you know you're there. They have a lot of farmers markets and stuff.
Okay. I'm looking at my notes to see if we can agree on some part of this conversation. You know what this movie was like for me? It was like it was like going to a wedding with like either as somebody's like helper date, like you're like, oh, okay, I'll go to the freaking wedding, and you're seated at a table with a drunk person who starts to talk to you at the table for 4 hours and they never stop. That's what this movie was like for me.
I'm gonna call mom and cry after this show.
You should be delighted because exactly what happened is what you designed. Things were going relatively well. I like Notting Hill kind of more than I thought I would. Now I love that movie, and we were in agreement over the last one. And here we're at a place where we knew we'd be. Okay. We knew.
So you didn't like this line. Why don't we see if Mark fancies a gherkin? Nothing. Didn't do anything for you.
I thought everything was forced. It just didn't make me laugh. It was like they were trying too hard for me.
Okay.
It was just not. It just didn't.
Jim Broadbent, nothing.
I love the man, but I don't. I didn't. I just. It just seemed like people were marking time.
Okay.
I mean, everybody was fine. Everybody was totally fine. I couldn't relate to anything happening in here. Like nothing. I felt like it was a
Mr.
was
Fitzherbert? Didn't nothing for Mr. Fitzherbert?
Was he the jewelry guy?
No, Mr. Fitzherbert, the guy at her office who had the sort of dour look on his face all the time.
No.
No? Okay.
This movie didn't make me laugh. It didn't make me laugh.
Okay.
Who
were we in the movie?
You are definitely Salman Rushdie.
What?
And
wow.
I think you should be cast as Salman Rushdie. And I think I'm at least going to get an audition to play her new TV boss at the TV station.
Oh, okay. I had you as Mr. Fitzherbert, and I thought I'd be her dad.
You thought you'd be Broadbent?
Her sad dad, yeah.
We should get big parts in it. We shouldn't cast ourselves in any of these.
In the big roles? Okay.
I'll take Salman Rushdie.
Well, if we were going for the small roles, I think I'd be the guy who her dad leaves her mom for, the guy on
the jeweler.
I'd love to play that role.
That would be great. A perfect role for either one of us. That's the thing.
I'll
do Salman Rushdie. You play that guy. Salman Rushdie is in this movie. Salman Rushdie is in this movie. Strange.
You know how that happened? Somebody called him up and said, "Hey, you want to do something really stupid?" And he
so, yeah.
Why not?
I have never tried that before.
Okay. Let's see if there's anything else I can go. I do know what the sequel would be called. The perfect name for the sequel.
Well, there is a sequel.
Yeah, but if we were going to come up with a name for the sequel,
okay.
Bridget's Bujo. That wasn't something dirty that I just said. Bujo is short, for those of us in the community, for bullet journal, which is an interesting technique for keeping your life organized. So, and Bridget being short for Bridget Jones. So Bridget's Bujo would be my name.
Very good.
The sequel.
I like that. Did this come out before Bujo journaling? It probably did.
Oh yeah.
Did they incorporate it into the later?
I don't think so. If they had, they would. If they were going to make a fourth one, it would be called Bridget's Bujo.
Yeah, for sure.
And there would be something in it about sparking joy too.
Right.
Sure.
Right. You do understand. I want to make something clear. I think we had a misunderstanding. I said I stopped watching the movie when The Pretenders came on, and then you said, "Well, you'll hate me. I went to buy the record." I love The Pretenders, and that's why I had to stop the movie. Okay. We're clear on that, right?
But you said there were 3 times that you threw the remote at the television. What are the other 2?
The other 2 were when they played Aretha Franklin when he came out of the elevator, and when Van Morrison was robbed and trampled on when Darcy says, "I like you." That's the 3 times where I had to stop and get enraged and choke down my feelings. Okay. We're gonna get through this. I've also titled this. I think I figured out the genre of this.
Yeah. Okay.
It's rom-com porn.
Okay.
This is, to me, you've heard of torture porn, which I'm fine with. Like doesn't bother me at all. People are like, oh, it's torture porn. It's what it is. This is rom-com porn.
Rom-com porn.
I felt dirty and bad afterwards.
Yeah. I'm a cheap audience. There's no I am a cheap date for a movie. There's no doubt about it.
For all movies, some movies you're like, wow, they didn't get this right, and they don't get this right. This movie, you've had nothing but delightful things to say about. I'm a little confused. this gets a free pass completely. You just
Okay,
love this movie.
let me ask some other questions, on our list of regulars. How would you what is I don't even wanna ask.
No, I'll try to answer it a nice way. I'll be
I'm
nice.
gonna say, what is the proper way to watch this movie? But the image that comes to mind for me that your answer is gonna be, those scenes where the hero is wandering through downtown looking for the lost girl who's disappeared from her parents' home, and he's wandering through Skid Row, and there's a bunch of bums around a trash can with fire in it.
Yeah.
That's you would watch this movie with those people and
I
then
would
throw it into the
I would
garbage can.
throw my laptop into the trash, burning trash, and watch the movie as it played in the trash. That's a pretty good one.
Yeah,
I would
okay.
say my recommended way of viewing it would be to watch it just the visuals, no sound, and then replace the sound with Norwegian black metal.
Okay. And my way was simply to watch it with your wife and mistress, or your husband and Mr. S, as they
Oh,
call them.
very
Junior
cheeky.
Mr. S, yeah.
That was cheeky, Matthew,
Uh,
which is a British
I'm a
term,
cheeky
That's a
monkey.
British thing that people say in London town.
Yes.
Cheeky. More.
What about the double feature for this movie?
I last week I was toying with it. It may have to be American Psycho, but I'm thinking it's American Psycho. It might be Frenzy, Alfred Hitchcock's Frenzy.
Well, I have a question about this. Does the double feature that I recommend have to be something that I've seen, or can it be something that I know about that I want to see?
I think that if you want respect from the fans, you need to have seen it, but it's up to you. You shouldn't
Well,
say that you didn't see it. That's what I would say.
clearly I don't care about respect from the fans because I've admitted that I love this movie. There's a movie that I've heard about that I suspect would make a good double feature for this movie. And I throw the name of this movie out there knowing full well that you've probably seen it 7 times and own the director's cut and the commentary. It's a Korean thriller called Burning, directed by
Great
Lee
movie.
Chang-dong.
Great movie. That one I love.
See, it's my life goal is to come up with a movie that you haven't seen.
I do love that movie, and I can see why you'd pick it. That's pretty good. I feel like like again, there's something about, in all seriousness, there's something about this that's that a little bit like Touch of Mink just feels like deep pathology, like deeply neurotic pathologies that are just brushed over and not addressed at all. How would you recast this?
I thought it was perfectly cast as it is.
Well, that's not the game.
That's not the game. That I didn't get to it. I tried, and
You love this movie more than you even told me that you did.
my brain had dried out. Yeah, I sat there and just enjoyed I'm an idiot for rom-coms. What can I tell you? I'm an idiot
You
for them.
just ruined my day with this movie. So all right. Well, here's my thing. I had two ways of thinking about it. First,
Okay.
I really wanted so desperately to like this, and I think the only way that I really could have is if it had gone into the Mike Lee territory. And I thought it would actually be my kind of movie if it was, age notwithstanding, Jim Broadbent playing Darcy, and
Okay.
somebody more, just more regular folks. I kept on thinking of like Shirley Valentine, movies like that, and how great it would be if this were a rom-com with these people with all these aspirations who were clearly not movie stars, just like people. I would have liked
Okay.
that movie a lot more. But to hell with all of that, because I want to scratch it and do the only thing that we really can do here to save it. And that is we cast Tracy Ullman as Bridget Jones, Richard Ayoade as Darcy, and Matt Berry as Hugh in the Hugh Grant role. And
All right.
just reset and go for complete surreal comedy with it.
That could be. I actually just came up with, so that's great. And I have something along the same lines that just came to me.
What's that?
I thought back to the play, the Maurice Siskel play, Love, and you cast Dad as Colin Firth,
Yes.
Eli Wallach as Hugh Grant, and
There you
Anne
go.
Jackson
There
as
you go. That would be fun. That to me would work. There was something about, there was something I have to say that the attitude about somebody, nothing against Renee Zellweger, it's the packaging of a giant star doing a movie like this. The attitude that she was slumming it, playing a regular person, bothers me. It's something that actually bothers me about it. And I just want to be like, then don't, if it's that tough, if it's that hard to eat like pancakes for a month and then, try a British accent, then let's have a real British person do it. And I also have a thing about that. I'm really tired of watching anybody attempt being from another country, unless it's the right level of humor, quality thing. The serious attempt at this to me is like a stunt at a certain point where I'm like, a real Brit could have done this with their eyes closed. It would have been effortless and effervescent. If, for instance, I'm terrible because I'm going to blank on this name now, but she had that amazing TV show, Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
Yes, Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
I got the name right.
You got the name right.
I feel like if she had done this, I might have really liked this movie, but there was a gap. So that's all I can really say.
Nicola Walker also would have been. Do you know Nicola Walker, British actress?
I don't know that I do. I may. I don't know her name.
Did you see River with Smorgasbord?
No, I didn't.
Stellan Skarsgård. Sorry.
Yeah. Stellar Smorgasbord in the food that you love.
Yeah. Nicola Walker, who is also in Last Tango at Halifax. I don't know if you watched any of that.
I haven't seen that either.
She is a wonderful British actress who would have been dynamite in this.
I should have laughed more. You
should have laughed more. You really should have.
I kept on hoping for that like Fish Called Wanda level of just craziness, and I never got it. But that's me.
Fire pole sequence. Nothing from you in the fire pole sequence.
Nope.
Nothing from you with the all right.
Not even when they had the 5th or 6th shot of her bum sliding towards the camera did I laugh. No, it wasn't even on the 7th or 8th version of that shot.
Okay. All right. Well, so I have done it.
You have accomplished your mission.
My goal. I've alienated my brother. He will Jim Broadbent in his green hat on Christmas Eve. Nothing.
No, I'm like, I was like, that's a hat. He's wearing a costume. He's got pants on. Yes, these are all things that are happening. Can I ask you a serious question? Why does her mother live in a Tim Burton movie? Why, like, her house, the walk up to her house is out of Edward Scissorhands, and that's the only thing like it in the movie. I'm confused. Also, did you notice you could see the entire crew and lighting setup in the reflection in the 3rd shot in the movie?
No, I didn't notice that.
You can.
Oh, dear, I'm gonna have to go back and watch that again. Give me an excuse to watch the movie again because I love it so much.
I'm glad you do. I'm glad anybody likes anything and that they enjoy it. I really do. I wish I was one of those people. I feel I feel like a miserable person.
Well, so I guess we've wound this down, but we've failed. We don't know what we're going to do next week, do we?
Well, I have a proposition for you.
Do tell.
Fan of the show and friend of the show, Peter Stray.
Yes, we love Peter Stray.
Recommended a while ago a movie for us that he thought we'd like to review. That's kind of more on track with our kind of thing
Okay.
that we do.
You mean movies that you like?
Yes, movies that I enjoy. I thought that's what it was called. Movies that Tony.
Regardless,
Isn't this
regardless of what I may think of
hashtag movies Tony likes? I thought that was the no.
Okay.
No,
You want to get back into the territory where you love something and I hate it, but I can't articulate any intelligible reason why, and you can talk for a long time and sound very smart.
no, that's actually not the. I'd like to go there. I could happily go there, but I this is a different direction. By
Okay.
that I mean it's more of a movie that we'll probably enjoy. We have a better shot at enjoying it at the same level.
Okay.
It has an
What is
equal
it
shot.
called?
It's called Metro, and it's an Eddie Murphy movie that I've never seen, and he said
And I've never
very,
seen it either.
very entertaining. It's on Tubi TV, which is a platform I love because I love commercial breaks because I get to get a popcorn or a beer, which I would do anyway.
Okay.
And Tubi's free, and it's got a lot of cool stuff on it. But Metro is cool, and we could think about doing a month of Eddie Murphy movies or a month of comedies from that year, or a month of something like that. So why don't we start with Metro and see if we get anybody who's listening, leapfrog on to another 3 films, and if not, we'll come up with something.
All right, that sounds great.
All right, good.
That sounds really fun. Well, this has been. I will you still speak to me? I guess
I will talk to you until you don't even want to hear my voice anymore. I will never stop talking to you. I didn't want to be a naysayer, but you have to admit you designed this unless you secretly were hoping to completely convert me to being just a blithering sap for any of these movies.
No, I did not hold out that hope. I actually went into this saying I'm going to make Anthony's head explode with Bridget Jones's Diary. That was my goal. But then what happened was after the Notting Hill discussion, and then I fell into the Hugh Grant trap and thought, oh,
yeah.
But I didn't critically look at all of the other things that obviously would make you want to buy a submachine gun.
It's a bit of a man trap, the Hugh Grant trap.
Yeah. All right. Well, this was great.
Yes.
Wait, we've got another comment. What is it here? Oh, Carrig, fun to watch. Thank you for watching, Carrig. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Carrig. It's always great to see you and hear from you.
And hopefully we'll see you next week.
Yep.
Have a good one, everybody.
See you, buddy.